Righto, well, welcome to this episode of Not Seeing My Face in the video. Today we're going to have a quick look at something I thought I would try. This is a silicone, supposedly reusable mixing container for epoxy. If you do lots of epoxy things, the disposable jug, the little coffee cup thing, whatever you use, creates some extra waste. I've got this and a couple smaller 100ml volume versions, if they are any good. They come with these sticks which are kind of stiff but flexible enough to potentially crack off any set epoxy. I have marked my volumes on the side so I can see. The printing on the side is not super clear, but that is a reflection of the material it's made out of. Anywho, let's hook in and see how this thing goes. This is a paddle. You may have seen these in my other videos. I have rounded off the bottom edges to accommodate the curved edge on the inside of this container, so I get a good mix. So that will go in the drill like that, and we'll come back. We'll need that in a sec. This is Epoxy black dye. See how we go pouring with this thing. Obviously it's quite flexible, so handling it is a bit different to a normal jug, but seems to be okay. This void here is, well, it goes all the way through, so I've taped behind. I'm actually testing book covering contact for this piece to see how it behaves as far as sealing the underside when you've got a through void like this to fill. We shall see how that goes. All right, so it's the next day. We've had some time for the epoxy to set. It's going all good. The smaller one here is a different type of epoxy. I had a glue up job yesterday, so we'll test it first and see how we go. Obviously the stick come out pretty easy. The little flaky bits seem to be coming off reasonably well. They'll take a bit of finagling, but be able to reuse a stirry stick, no worries. Alright, might come out easy enough. There's a few little flaky bits inside. They will rub off. May need to use a little acetone, pull some compressed air, but that'll get used again. And that came out super easy. Again, a few little spots inside, a little bit across the edge here. All of that can be fixed with the air compressor or a scrapey stick or some acetone. These weren't expensive. I would expect that they would pay for themselves in about 3 uses versus using a jug for the big one. For the little one, I actually can't remember what value this would be, but certainly over a period of time, much better than throwing away a plastic or a coffee cup. So there we have it. All right, so this is the underside, as you can see, and I mentioned earlier using some book covering contact to provide the surface seal for some stabilizing epoxy. You can see here how it's worked. This component here was on the table, so it had the flat surface of the form plate tabletop to keep this run relatively low. Still feels like about 1 millimeter, but that will sand back and be acceptable. This piece here was hanging over the edge of the table, and I sort of was able to, during the pour, note what was happening, and I had this board clamped onto it just with a couple of the Irwin ratchet clamp things, and so that minimised this bubbling out. So it seems to have worked, but if you don't have any pressure on it, the bond didn't stick as well as packing tape. That could be related to the fact that this roll of contact's been sitting in my shed for many years. So I'll be trying this again with newer contact to see whether I get a better result. So the immediate thing that's apparent here is there's a little bit of sticky residue. So for something that didn't stick that well, there's a bit of sticky here. The epoxy is 24 hours or thereabouts. It's probably 20 hours into a 5-day full cure. So it's still a bit tacky. And I'll certainly be getting clear contact for the next trial. This all needs sanding, so I'm not terribly concerned, but it has perhaps added more work than I save by putting it in one piece rather than many pieces to cover all the cracks. Otherwise, reasonably successful experiment.